I think Lou Holt said it first. Urban Meyer has picked up on the cliche that you don't have to be the best team in the country on any given Saturday. You just have to be the best team in that stadium. And Ohio State may have had to be just about the best team in the country to be the best team in that stadium because Wisconsin is really, really good. Mark Rogers TV with instant analysis just seconds after Ohio State held off Wisconsin 30-23 in overtime. Let's break this one down. Let's start with the quarterback, J.T. Barrett. His numbers were pretty much close to what you typically get from a J.T. Barrett. 17 of 25 range, 225 yards, something in that range. He did throw the one interception, but it was really the running and the playmaking of J.T. Barrett on the ground that proved to be possibly the difference in this game for a second consecutive week. Two were actually last Saturday against Indiana. 26 carries. That might be too much of a workload for this guy down the stretch for Ohio State. Too many playmakers for J.T. Barrett to carry at 26 for 137 against Indiana. But the Buckeyes needed much of the same in this one. 21 carries for 92 yards. And it was the play that he made on third down and short. It was about a 3rd and 5 with the Buckeyes needing a touchdown down 16-13, in which there were two players, two Wisconsin Badgers coming off the edge. One was Jack Sitchie on the blitz and completely blew by the right tackle. J.T. Barrett dodged both Wisconsin Badgers, made it to the end zone. Buckeyes led for the first time at 20-16 because Wisconsin came out and they dominated along the line of scrimmage, really on both sides of the ball for much of the game. The offensive line looked like Badgers of yesteryear because Wisconsin, despite winning big games and despite being a contender the last couple of years in the Big Ten, 10-3 last, see what they've done against the likes of LSU, Michigan State, and Michigan coming in. Not a great running team. We talked about it in the preview. Corey Clement at less than 4 yards per carry, but on this night against an elite front of Ohio State and overall defense, one of the best in the land, Wisconsin was able to run it. Corey Clement, 25 for 164 on this night, and Wisconsin in the first half rang up 313 yards of total offense against a defense that had been dominant. We saw him have a rough ride at the big house against Michigan's defense. Well, if we're going to make comparisons, Ohio State's defense, nothing close to what Go Blue showed us against Hornibrook. Hornibrook looked like the quarterback he was against Michigan State. Anticipating throws, he's a finesse thrower. And other than not reading Gary and Conley, who made a big interception just prior to the J.T. Barrett touchdown that we talked about, Hornibrook was on his game. Let's pick it up after the Buckeyes took the 20-16 lead and Hornibrook led a drive. He was backed up on a 3rd and long and threw a beautiful downfield pass just over tight coverage to Jazz Peavy, who totaled 146 yards, was killing the Buckeyes on the jet sweep, and also 6 big receptions for 70 yards for Jazz Peavy over Ohio State. That led to a big touchdown for the Badgers to lead it at 23-20. Ohio State tied it at 23 all. Two concluding situations in this game would be the penalty. So Wisconsin gets it back 23-23 with about 2 minutes left on the clock, and they just ran it down Ohio State's throats, mostly with Corey Clement. They got a first down at the Ohio State 38 with a $1:45 to play. They were just going to milk the clock, kick the field goal, get out of there with a win, but there was a big holding penalty that negated the run, brought it back another 10 yards, set up the 1st and 20, and then the Buckeyes, to their credit, shut down Wisconsin. Got the ball back with about 50 seconds left to play. Ohio State at its own 15. Coaches in this situation, especially with a veteran quarterback and having the elite playmakers that Ohio State has, would see what first down would get you. One for 12 to 15 to 20 yards on first down. You're in decent field position, then you go from there. But Ohio State decided to pack it up, and Urban Meyer played for overtime. That could have burned him, but it didn't. So Ohio State's elite speed playmakers, they're a better roster, more talented roster than Wisconsin, but they needed every bit of effort in this one. So in the overtime, it was J.T. Barrett, it was Curtis Samuel really bailing out the offense on a swing pass, which he was trapped behind the line of scrimmage and gained 8 to set up the Buckeyes in great field position to convert. And J.T. Barrett throwing the touchdown on the zone read approach, the look they gave the defense, and Ohio State loves it. So on 3rd and 2, they give the look. JT pulls out, and he hits Noah Brown for the game-leading touchdown, 30-23. And then despite giving up a big pass play down to the 5-yard line, Ohio State's defense, 4 shots inside the 5-yard line, shuts down Wisconsin, sacks Hornibrook to end the game. And again, it was Ohio State's ability in the clutch because of the great talent to lock down receivers one-on-one, and then from Lewis and Hubbard and Bosa and company to collapse the pocket, sack Hornibrook, end the game. Ohio State takes on Penn State next week in Happy Valley, and there's a disparity of play between these two teams. But we know what happened 2 years ago on Ohio State's march to the national championship, a difficult overtime game against Hackenberg and Penn State. And so don't expect an easy one necessarily in Happy Valley. For Wisconsin, they're knocked out of the national championship race. Western Division, they'll need a little bit of help. Beat Nebraska head-to-head. The Huskers also have to play Ohio State in Columbus. So this one's not over for Wisconsin within the Big Ten. Badgers have to play at Iowa next week. Ohio State, Wisconsin. You probably checked out the ball game. Would love to hear your insight on this one. So a lot of people out there said Buckeyes would roll. A lot of comments I got at Ohio State winning big. I said 24-17 that it would be a fight to the end, and it certainly was. Ohio State survives this one. We'll catch you next time. Would love to hear your comments on Mark Rogers TV.